Welcome to Gladys Garage, the channel where I teach you how to service and repair your own vehicles so that I don't have to. And if you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button and let's get down to business.
Gladys Garage, where the engines roar, turn the key, hit the gas, learn to do much more. Gladys Garage, roll up your sleeves if you dream it, you can fix it, just believe. He says.
Alright, so today we're going through the service of the mighty V8 Landcruiser. Now you're going to need a few materials for this one. It is a little more complex than others, but here we go. We need the service kit. We need 9.5 litres of C3 engine oil, an oil jug, a drain tray, this oil filter tool, a 1/2-inch ratchet with 14mm socket, a 1/4-inch ratchet and 10mm socket, or some Allen keys, pliers, large multi-grips, brake cleaner and rags. Alright, so we pop open the door, and first thing I'll do is make sure the handbrake's on, put it in neutral and remove the keys to prevent anyone starting the vehicle. We're just going to pop the bonnet up here and we'll just make our way around and look for the latch just to the right center. Open the bonnet and put the bonnet stay up. Alright, here's our service kit. We'll pop it open, check that everything's in there. We've got our oil filter. Don't mind that plastic bit, we don't actually need that. That's for other models when we want to drain it. There should be O-rings in there. And then we've got our fuel filter, this nice little slimline looking thing. It should come with a bunch of O-rings required as well. This one comes with a bunch of rags and a pair of gloves, which I tend to wear now. A little funnel, and that's our air filter. Alright, so let's just cover off on a few of the things we can see in the engine bay. So first we've got our air filter box here. We've got our coolant expansion tank here. Then at the back here you'll find your brake fluid reservoir. Next to that is the clutch fluid reservoir. And this is our oil filler cap that will be taken off, and here is our engine oil dipstick. Over on the passenger side, this is where we've got some fuses over here. We'll also find our fuel filter and hand primer on the top here, and this has got a dual battery kit installed. That's why we can see 2 batteries, and the red light is the isolator for them. Alright, so let's get down to business. Let's do a commando roll under the car and get our 14mm socket with 1/2-inch ratchet. This is our drain plug, so we're just going to crack it off there and make sure our drain tray is in position. So make sure your plugs are out if you're using this particular type of drain tray. I use it for certain jobs, but I'm not actually that impressed with it because it creates a bit of a mess when we've got hot oil. And I like to drain them while they're hot, so we get as much out as possible, but that's just me. Look at that, oil everywhere. Don't worry too much, we'll clean it up. I've got a ground mat, so don't stress. If you are fairly new to servicing or a beginner, I would recommend just getting an open style drain tray and save yourself the trouble. Then dispose of your oil into whatever container you're going to before disposing of it at the tip.
I don't wanna see if it isn't me who's on your mind, 'cause I don't know what you're looking for. Oh, and I don't know what to do. Hold back, let go. There is nothing more for me to show. You're hiding to breathe, running from me. Do you really wanna be in love? Halfway from home, I picked up my phone. I stared at your face, but it's not your tone. Saying oh hello, who are you to call me late in the night? She says I just called to say that it's here with me and not
So this is the actual filter tool that you can buy, but this one actually snapped on the last filter I tried to remove from a 79 series, so it's not actually that strong. Maybe if I used the nut part of it instead of the 3/8 drive, it would have been alright. So I've got my big trusty multi-grips that I use for many filters, and they never steer me wrong. So if you can afford or get yourself even a cheap pair of large multi-grips, this will save you a lot of time and a lot of jobs that you do. Now keep in mind that these filter housings can be really tight at times, so you really need to get a good grip on this thing and make sure the multi-grips don't slip. Usually when you get it in the right position, you can lock the teeth in to the tabs on the filter housing and it should hold there. So yeah, crack it off and we'll spin it out.
I don't know what to do.
Now just be really mindful that when you get to the end of this thread unwinding the filter housing, oil may come out at a great rate of knots, just like your second born child. So have your drain tray in the correct position and just be prepared for it.
Sometimes it burns, sometimes it hurts when you say my name, but thinking of hers, I don't wanna know, don't want you to go and leave me behind. No, I don't wanna see.
As you probably noticed, I have made quite a mess and I'm always constantly cleaning it up. This is why, once again, I recommend using the open style drain tray. Just gives you a little bit of room for error, and yeah, it doesn't splash back or anything. So the filter just pops straight out of the housing, and there is a cylinder and spring in the center. Now we have to go back into where the filter was living and get the O-ring out that we've left behind. So there are 2 O-rings to replace with this filter. The one up in there, just get your seal pick and slowly coerce it out, and we'll swap that one. Alright, so grab the old filter housing and get your seal pick, and we'll just remove that old O-ring there.
I stared at your face, but it's not your tone. Saying oh hello, who are you to call?
Alright, so now grab your oil filter and we're going to look at how we put the oil filter in. Now double check you've got both O-rings, the internal and external O-ring, and then we're going to tear those open and clean up the housing.
Cause I don't know what you're looking for.
Now grab the oil filter housing and give it a good clean with some brake cleaner or degreaser or whatever you've got on hand. I prefer brake cleaner because it cleans up nice, and I like to get all of the grit and debris or dirt out of the threads so that when we do wind it on, it does go on nice and smoothly.
You're hiding to breathe, running from me. Do you really wanna be? Oh baby, tell me you need me, that you can stand it no more, that she ain't what you're looking for.
Now gently slide on your O-ring. You can put it on one side and then just roll it down until it gets into that groove that you took the old one off.
You know, it took 2 to break us down. Now you're gone.
Now make sure there's no debris on the O-ring itself. It needs to be fully clean, and I use a silicone-based lubricant on my O-rings. You can use old engine oil if you don't have any of that on hand. There's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure there's no dirt on it or it won't seal properly.
What to do?
make sure we grab this mesh tube from the old oil filter. It just pops straight out. Just give it a yank and it'll come out. I'll give it a clean up too to make sure there's no dirt or debris inside that that can contaminate the new filter. Be sure to get your spring and just push that into the top and it should click in. Now I'm just going to grab that mesh strainer with the spring and slide it into the oil filter and it should click into the top. Then grab your filter, put it inside the housing cup there, and we're just going to slide it in and start winding that thread on. Now that filter housing is going to be fairly firm to do up with your hands, so you can only get it so far and then you may just have to finish it off and give it a tickle with the multi-grips in the end. Once it starts feeling firm, get it right to the end and then grab onto the multi-grips nice and tight and give it that little nip up just to lock it all together. And because I'm obsessed with using brake clean, I give it a spray just to clean everything down. And when you're ready, grab yourself a jug and fill, baby, fill. Also be aware that some of these oil filler caps get a little bit tight, so you might need a pair of pliers just to undo them the first time. Now, the 2007 to 2015 model will take 9.2 litres service refill capacity. Anything after 2015 will take 9.5 litres. Now once you've actually filled your engine oil level, make sure there's nothing dripping out the bottom, because there's nothing worse than forgetting to put your drain plug in. Alright, so now that we're done with that, we're going to pop the door open and we're going to make sure the handbrake is on and it's still out of gear, and then we're going to turn the engine over. Now the car should start pretty much straight away, and what you want to listen for, you may hear an initial ticking noise, and once the oil pressure builds back up, it should go away. Now check underneath and make sure nothing is dripping underneath. Now, while the engine's running and it's warming up the new oil, I like to wipe a few things down and give the vehicle like a general walk around. So I'm looking at the tyres, looking at the rims for any damage, and just giving it a general look over, just to make sure it all runs sweet and that nothing starts dripping out. And when you're done, make sure you pull the keys out and put it back on the seat. Now, once you've done that, at least give the vehicle a minute being switched off before you check the dipstick. Now in this particular instance, I had to check the dipstick a few times. It was really hard to see the engine oil. Now it's time to replace the air filter. So we go to our air filter housing and we have 4 latches located around the outside. So once we undo all those latches, we need to push some force towards the air filter hose because it's a little bit stiff and we need to unseat it from the seal. Now good practice is to blow out the air filter housing. I used my mouth because I didn't have a compressor on that day, but it's okay. Like I said, put some force against the back part of that housing, against the hose, and you should be able to lay it down level on top of the new filter. Now you don't need any lubrication on this kind of filter. It doesn't come with any, so don't stress. Now it's onto the fuel filter. Open your fuel filter box, make sure the rubber seal is on top of there, and we're going to unplug the sensor plug on top of the fuel filter housing. Then we're going to undo the 3 bolts that bolt on the top of the fuel filter housing. Now, I believe most of these models come with an Allen key bolt, but somebody has replaced these ones with some 10mm bolts, and that's what I'm doing right now. Now once the lid's off, all you have to do is grab the old filter and pull it out, swap it out with a new one. This one is a little bit dirty and definitely needs replacing. Once they do get blocked or get water in there, the water and fuel sensor will detect it and put a light on the dash, but in this case it's not quite there. Now what we have to do is remove the old outer seal from the fuel filter housing and put the new one in. Now what you really want to make sure is that there's no dirt or debris sitting on that rim, and you just want to rest the new one on top of there. Now what you want to do is get your new fuel filter, put it in the housing, and then push it in flush inside the outer O-ring. Now in this instance, it took me a little bit of fiddling and I had to use both hands, but you just need to get it nice and level and then give it a nice push down so it all sits flush and we can put the lid back on. Put your 3 bolts back in the top, whether they're Allen key bolts or normal bolts. When you're tightening these, just use a 1/4 inch ratchet if you've got one, or whatever you're using. Just make sure you get them firm and then just give them a little tickle because they are prone to stripping or snapping bolts.
Sometimes it burns, sometimes it hurts when you say my name, but thinking of her.
Alright, once you've nipped up these bolts, you want to make sure you don't forget to put the plug back on the fuel sensor and start priming it. With this little button on top, get the palm of your hand and just push it down, and the spring will return it each time. Now you'll feel a bit of resistance. That's okay, that's what we want, and we want to keep pumping it until it goes really hard and we can't pump it anymore. Now once we've done all that, we jump back in here and we crank the engine over. But as soon as the engine's cranked over, we want to head back around to the fuel filter to keep priming.
You're hiding to breathe, running from me. Do you really?
Now I'm not saying this step's absolutely necessary, but cars vary from time to time, and this is a surefire way to make sure the engine keeps running and the system's fully primed.
I picked up my phone. I stared at your face, but it's not your tone.
Now last but certainly not least, we want to change our cabin filter. So we open up the glove box, and on both sides of the glove box, you want to give it a squeeze inwards and then pull the top out, and the whole thing should just come out. Once that's out of the way, we just have to remove this piece of ducting, just pull it down and then pull it to the left and it should come out. Then we can get to the screen that holds the cabin filter. Just pull the clips in and slide it out, and we can just change it out and put it all back together.
What to do? Hold back, let go. There is nothing more for me to show. You're hiding to breathe, running from me. Do you really wanna be? Oh baby, tell me you need me, that you can stand it no more, that she ain't what you're looking for. Oh, oh baby, oh tell me you love me. You know it took two to break us down. Now you're gone.
Thanks ladies and gentlemen for watching. If you found this video somewhat useful, please give us a like or a share, and if there's something you want to see in the near future, drop it below in the comments and we'll put it on the list. But for now, Gladdy's got to go, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a fantastic week.
Gladys Garage.